With the imminent rise of GPT-5, this video is going to cover 10 of the confirmed features that are going to be in the successor system, GPT-5. Now, of course, it may contain a little bit of speculation, but many of the sources of these statements come from Sam Altman himself and some of the employees at OpenAI in features that they've discussed that they are going to be adding. So without wasting any more time, this is 10 things we expect from GPT-5. One of the first things that we do expect is, of course, a longer context window. The reason we expect a longer context window is because Google's Gemini, they actually did increase their context window by up to 10 million tokens. We can all see right here that Google's Gemini 1.5 Pro is actually up to 10 billion tokens, okay? And you can see that it has a variety of different use cases. And I don't think OpenAI like to be at the bottom when it comes to being state-of-the-art system. But we can all see here that we have 1 hour of video, 11 hours of audio, 30,000 lines of code, and 700,000 words. Now, of course, with any advanced super system, the compute is an issue, which means that this system isn't available to the public. But the point is that in the future, there will be successor systems that do have an increased context window, and GPT-5 is likely to be one of those. Now, you can see that GPT-4 Turbo's context window is at 128,000 tokens, and Claude 2.1's is at 200,000 tokens. Now, Gemini 1.5 Pro is still the market leader in this space. And of course, GPT-4 Turbo is lagging behind. So it is not going to be surprising if they increase the context window of GPT 4.5 or GPT-5. Now, what we could also see here is we can see the numerous applications for GPT-5's or GPT 4.5's longer context window. With a context window that long, what you can do is you can analyze really long transcripts, you can analyze movies, you can analyze entire code bases and easily find issues and fix them. And this brings an entire new domain, an entire new playing field when it comes to using these AI systems for advanced. Now you can see right here, there's about 350 pages that you can put into Claude Pro. So the new version of Claude, the one that was just released, the context window is around 200,000 tokens and is really, really good. And we are seeing many different people talk about how they're being able to use Claude. You can see this guy right here says, I'm able to put 10,000 line code base in and have it output modifications to multiple files for a high level request. I'd say it's noticeably better than GPT-4. The context alone is a selling point, but the code is also high quality from what I've seen. So this is something that we do know is really impressive. You can see that this larger context window is something that is going to be coming, and I think it's at least going to go up to 200k. That is just my estimate based on what is capable now with LLMs and based on all the surrounding research and the research papers that have been going around. I wouldn't be surprised if they had some kind of version of GPT 4.5 Elite or something like that, or GPT-5 0.5 or something like that, that you're able to have all of this. So there is new technology being developed, and clearly these other AI companies are using it as well. Now, another thing here is, of course, advanced reasoning capabilities. Now, this one right here is not speculation. This one comes from Sam Altman. In an interview, Sam Altman actually did talk to Bill Gates, and he actually spoke about these advanced reasoning capabilities that will be coming in the successor system known as GPT-5 or GPT 4.5. So let's take a listen to what Sam Altman actually said about this advanced reasoning capabilities and how it's going to impact the future systems, which will be GPT 4.5 or GPT-5.
We'll be able to push that much further, but maybe the most important areas of progress will be around reasoning ability. Right now, GPT-4 can reason and only we'll be able to push that much further, but maybe the most important areas of progress will be around reasoning ability. Right now, GPT-4 can reason in only extremely limited ways, and also reliability. If you ask GPT-4 most questions 10,000 times, one of those 10,000 is probably pretty good, but it doesn't always know which one. And you'd like to get the best response of 10,000 each time. So that'll be that increase in reliability will be important.
So that you can see Sam Altman is, of course, looking to increase the reliability of this model and make sure that it has advanced reasoning capabilities. All that this means is that the model is just going to be a lot smarter. That just means that the applications for this are now going to be increased, because if you have a model that gives you the correct answer 99% of the time, not 90% of the time, that means you can start to roll this out in more and more applications, because some industries have a very low margin for error. And if you are in one of those industries, using GPT-4 or any kind of system like that just doesn't make sense. But if we get to advanced reasoning capabilities where it's able to answer your question and you don't have to put like an 1,000-word prompt in for it to understand exactly what you want, and it's able to understand knowledge and able to move forward in a very advanced way, this is going to be something that we are going to be seeing in these future systems. Now, this isn't going to come as any surprise, as previously we've seen, 3 months ago, Gemini Ultra surpassed GPT-4 on its reasoning capabilities. You can see on the Big Bench Hard, it surpasses it in 83.6%, 82.4% on variable shots, And you can see on the hella swag, it didn't actually do better than that on the reasoning. The reasoning was 95%. But of course, you can see in all of these other categories, we're going to see some advanced reasoning capabilities. Now, in addition to that, we also got to see Claude 3 once again surpass GPT-4. And, if we're looking at all of these kind of things, the reasoning over text, this kind of score, mixed evaluations, all of these ones, we're going to see that this is going to really, really, really improve in terms of what we're able to see, because reasoning is one of the main selling points of GPT-4. If you didn't realize, GPT-4 was always seen as the super smart system that really understands exactly what you need to do. And so far, it seems that the other systems have overtaken this. So advanced reasoning capabilities, that's what Sam Altman has recently said. And I would not be surprised if we do see GPT-4 surpassing all of these. And I mean, maybe we've seen that, like GPT-4, whilst it was still really, really good, like whilst GPT-4 was very, very good, of course, I do think that the future models are going to be a notch up. And I think reasoning is one of the biggest things because, like I said, it unlocks a whole host of capabilities. So, like Sam Altman said, advanced reasoning capabilities are going to be there. Now, here is something that Sam Altman did actually talk about with Bill Gates again, and this is, of course, increased personalization. So, in the next version, which is GPT 4.5 or GPT-5, I'm just going to say GPT-5 from now on, I think we are going to get increased personalization. But like I said, this video isn't going to be speculation. Take a listen to what Sam Altman said in this interview where he dropped some cool gems.
Customizability and personalization will also be very important. People want very different things out of GPT-4, different styles, different sets of assumptions. We'll make all that possible. And then also the ability to have it use your own data. So the ability to know about you, your email, your calendar, how you like appointments booked, connected to other outside data sources, all of that. Those will be some of the most important areas.
So you can see that increased personalization is going to be something that's coming. And this is something that I think is going to be changing the game. Currently, the other systems like Claude and Google Gemini aren't personalized at all. These systems don't really know you. They don't know your birthday. They don't know your name. They don't know where you come from. They don't know like how you like your responses. There is no personalization on these models. You just talk to them and they give you a response. So what we need now is we need increased personalization. Now, one kind of thing that was kind of like a cool way to like kind of look at this was chat with RTX. So it's kind of like a cool demo app that lets you personalize a GPT large language model connected to your own content, docs, notes, and other data, leveraging RAG, retrieval augmented generation, and RTX acceleration. You can custom a chatbot quickly to get contextually relevant answers. And because it runs all locally on your Windows PC, you get fast and secure results. So essentially, we have chat with RTX, and that is something that you can download. You can upload your own data, and it's extremely accurate. The only downside to this is that it's running on Llama 2, which isn't that good of a model like GPT-4. I mean, it's decent, but it isn't that good. But it's able to understand your data, pull stuff from your data using RAG, and it's really, really accurate. Now, of course, Sam Altman talks about how everyone has different uses of GPT-4, and some people would like their, responses personalized. I'm not sure how it will work, but maybe there'll be something in the future, like, when you sign up, it might be like, are you male or are you female? Do you like your responses longer or shorter? Are you left-leaning? Are you right-leaning? What do you think about this issue, that issue? Then it's generating a chatbot that can kind of, use your responses. What are you going to be using the chatbot for mainly? And of course, we've seen that with like custom GPTs and stuff, but I wouldn't say it's limited, but I would say that custom GPTs has some limitations because of how much data you're putting in before the prompt. The AI system doesn't really work that effectively because since there's so much information before the system prompt, it just doesn't always stick to your prompt very effectively. So personalization is going to be something that I will expect and that I do expect, and I wouldn't be surprised if it comes in GPT-5 because it likely is a big feature that many of these AI systems, while they're, making them a lot smarter, making them a lot more efficient, personalization is something to where the AI system, remembers you. It's looking at a picture of you. It's like, oh, I remember you, we talked about this before. It's just going to be something that's really, really easy to do in terms of, being able to use the AI system much more effectively. Because I don't know about you guys, but I always have to constantly remind the AI system, how I like my responses. When I start a new chat, I have to say, look, I have to, put a whole 1,000-word prompt in just to get, certain things the way I want them. And that is something that is really, really frustrating. So personalization with your data, it's going to be possible. Maybe we're going to get, some kind of model to be able to download. I don't think OpenAI is going to do that, because they're no longer open. But I do think that in the future, we're going to get some kind of secure personalization. Now, one of the things that I think is going to be really, really effective is the inference speed / latency. So I think that, Sam Altman talks about this, and I can't find the clip, but I know he talked about this. he talked about how latency will be faster when talking to the AI. So essentially, when you have a conversation with ChatGPT, if you speak to the AI and you know have a conversation with it with the phone app and you are using your voice, it's actually pretty slow. But this is something that Sam Altman said that they're going to improve in the future models. Now, I'm not sure if this is going to be done with GPT-5. I know it's going to be done in the future models. It might be done with like GPT-4 because, of course, they're going to probably reduce the cost for that. And I think it's going to be really effective because literally yesterday I was playing around with an AI demo and it was so fast on how it spoke back to me. I was truly shocked because I was like, whoa, this actually kind of seems like there's another person on the line here. And it doesn't seem like the AI is just thinking that slowly. So they're going to be able to do this. And another cool trick that they are now starting to use with these AI systems is that they're now like, instead of, you know, having the AI just blank out, they're going to make the AI system go, like, you know, those thinking words that you do when you're trying to think of something. That's essentially what these AI systems are going to be doing, spitting that out as a voice instead of just, you know, being completely, you know, non-talking. So I think the latency is going to be really, really faster. But I don't think that, you know, GPT-5 is any faster than what we've got because I think that OpenAI, they do have a compute struggle. I'm not sure what they're building. They're building tons and tons of stuff, but, you know, all the stuff that they are building, it's very compute intensive. So they do have a limited compute, like to be able to divvy it up between super intelligence, between Sora, between future GPT-5 models, between vision models. So I think that if we do get GPT-5 and it is super smart, I don't think it's going to be that fast. I think it's going to, you know, take quite a time because Sora, they spoke about Sora being quite slow, as in, you know, you could go get a coffee while it's generating the video. Another thing for that as well with Sora is that we did also get Google's Gemini 1.5 Pro, and even with the 1.5 Pro, when you're entering really large code bases, it does sometimes take up to like 5 to 10 minutes to get a response from the model. And that shows us that the smarter these systems are, the more data that they're handling, you know, the more complex these systems are, the longer it does take to get a response. So until, you know, Moore's law kind of takes into effect and we get those GPUs that are really, really fast, we get those transistors that are, you know, super, super efficient, this thing, I still think that, you know, inference for the smartest model won't be fastest, but I think that the latency when talking to an AI system, you know, they're going to kind of develop that Grok style latency where it's really, really quickly. Now, the message cap, I think this is going to go, I think for GPT-4 and GPT-4.5, this is going to go because this is going to be one of the things that most people will have a gripe with. But, you know, I think this does have a really big problem. Maybe it's just to get people to pay for Teams now that I think about it, because, you know, if you are stuck with 40 messages every 3 hours, you can sign up for Teams. You get 100 messages every 3 hours, which is, you know, 2.5 times the amount. But yeah, this is going to be something that I think does go in the future. So that would be something that I don't think hangs around forever. And of course, we do have this right here, increased vision capability. So right now, GPT-4 vision is quite limited. It's able to do quite a lot of stuff, but the problem is, number one, it's very, very expensive. But number one, it's very, very expensive, which means that you can't use it for certain applications because it's like, you know, it's just too expensive to run. Like some people were testing the GPT-4 vision API and they found that, you know, just doing like a quick video analysis, it costs like around $10, which is completely unfeasible for any real application. The thing that you're seeing on screen right now is you're seeing GPT-4 versus Ferret. Now, if you don't know what Ferret is Apple's model, and Apple released a vision model that is much more capable than GPT-4's one. So I'm guessing that in the future, they're likely to have a model version of GPT-4 vision, GPT-5 vision, that's able to really, really understand exactly what's going on in an image and really decipher it and truly understand. And I think it's going to be cheaper as well because Claude just launched a Haiku, which is a new model. It's really cool. It's really fast. It's a vision model, and it's much more effective than, I think it's much more cost effective than GPT-4 as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if they, you know, have a new model that is a lot better than what we've seen here. So for me, this is going to be something that I'm really excited for as well, because vision really does take AI to the next level. And of course, we did also see that AI demoed a new vision model in their recent demo with the Figure robot. So I'm guessing that that one is going to be rather effective too. So that is going to be something that is really, really, really game changing if they do manage to get this right in terms of the cost down and stuff like that. So it will be interesting to see if vision comes out soon. Now, of course, like I said, now this is another thing that I did think about, okay, and this is of course increased memory capability. So this was ChatGPT's, you know, small kind of way to increase the personality. But of course, remember how before I talked about personalization, keep the conversation going, improves over time, manage what it remembers. This is stuff that, you know, you can kind of do right now, but it isn't that effective. Of course, you can see that, you know, this is what ChatGPT have introduced, but I do think that in the future, like I said, along with personalization, this is going to be something that is rather effective. I'm not sure how it's going to work. Of course, you can see that it's just going to be like a document that we can upload, and then it uses probably RAG to retrieve that with some kind of advanced system. So it's really, really personalized. And then I think across the board, we're then going to see other companies race to kind of get this deployed as well. But I think that this is going to be something that is rather effective. And yeah, increased memory capabilities. I think over the long form chats. It's going to be able to store what you have. And I'm going to give you guys some examples of that. I'm going to include a snippet from a previous video where I talked about MemGPT and how that is going to work. It's not exactly how it's going to work, but it's a possibility on how it could work. So I'm going to include a clip of that. In addition, we also do have, multimodality, which is DALL-E 4. But before I talk about DALL-E 4, take a listen to what Sam Altman said.
And when you look at the next 2 years, what do you think some of the key milestones will be?
Multimodality will definitely be important. We've
Which
started
means speech in, speech out.
speech in, speech out, images, eventually video. Clearly, people really want that. We launched images and audio, and it had a much stronger response than we expected.
So you could hear from just there, Sam Altman clearly stating that image generation capabilities are going to be coming. Now, if you're wondering what is this screenshot you're looking at, if you don't know, Sora, when it released OpenAI's video model, essentially what they had was they also managed to make a image generation model on top of this. And it's a photorealistic image generation model that you can see right here. It's able to generate photorealistic images quite like Midjourney. And it's something that really, really effective. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do get DALL-E 4 that is able to do this, but with a lot of restrictions, not as free as Midjourney to be able to generate pictures of, Elon, Trump, whoever you really want to generate. But I think it's going to be really, really effective because it is going to be something that Sam Altman talks about, how people do want images. And of course, usually when we do have updates in the system, we're likely to get these major, major upgrades too. So I think multimodality is going to be coming. Of course, speech in, speech out. I think things are going to be more natural in the sense of, you talking to an AI. It's going to probably ask you questions back, ask you how you're feeling, how you're doing. So I think that multimodality is going to really, really be there. Now, one thing I actually did forget to add to this presentation when I'm talking about advanced reasoning capabilities, another thing I think that's really going to be there, so this is going to be point 10 because we've done points all the way up until 8. So this is going to be this is going to be point 9. Essentially, what I think we're going to be able to really, really add here is, of course, advanced coding capability. So the code on the human eval, you can see GPT-4 is 67% at 0 shot, whereas Claude 3's Opus is 84.9% at 0 shot. So across the board, they beat GPT-4 in terms of coding. And I think in the future, we are going to be getting a system that's, closer to 90% because GPT-4, they're really going to make sure that they beat every single other AI system. So I wouldn't be surprised if their reasoning takes this off. You can see right here that, Gemini Ultra 74.4 and of course, GPT-4 is 67%. So I wouldn't be surprised if they manage to completely dominate the coding. I wouldn't, there was AlphaCode 2, which is essentially 84%, it's better than 84% of coders, although that is really compute intensive. But I do think that what we have here is advanced coding capabilities coming in the next one. So that's going to be point 9, advanced coding capabilities. We've already seen Devin being able to do some really cool stuff. And I wouldn't be surprised if there was a separate model that just focuses on code, because we're seeing with Devin, there's clearly an entire application for that. So in the future, if there is just, an entire code GPT, like, if OpenAI are working on a completely coding model that's just able to code better than, 90% of all coders, I wouldn't be surprised. And if it's able to, go on the recent benchmarks of what we saw with Devin, I wouldn't be surprised if that's there as well. Now, I want to talk to you guys about 3 things that I don't think are coming, and one thing that is, a bonus point. Okay, so one of the things I don't think is coming in the future, okay, for GPT-5, okay, is advanced agentic capability. So if you look at the trademarks on OpenAI's, if you look on the public records, you can see what the future trademarks are. Now, trademarks essentially describe what the next future models are going to have, and only in GPT-6 did we see testing artificial intelligence agents, and we also saw that in GPT-7. So it seems as if agentic capabilities are being delayed until GPT-6 because there's a whole host of things that they want to put in GPT-5 and then they're going to release that in GPT-6. Now, this could change if a new company comes out of the works and has some advanced agentic coding stuff that we've never seen before, okay? Maybe Claude does it, maybe Google does it, maybe Meta does it. They all are working on advanced agentic stuff, but we can see that that stuff is likely to be until GPT-6. Now, what this means is that in GPT-5, I wouldn't expect any kind of agentic capabilities. Of course, trademarks are just trademarks, but then again, if you look at the Sora trademarks, it does talk about video, how they're going to be generating videos, and that is something that perfectly describes what Sora is. So this, OpenAI shifts battleground to software that operates devices and automate tasks. I think this is going to be coming in the future, maybe next year with GPT-6, and I do think that GPT-5, which is likely to be, coming this year, I do think that that one, GPT-5, is going to be having not advanced intelligence, capabilities, but it's going to be a really good personalized system that is just, better than anything across the board. Another thing that I don't think is coming is I don't think music generation is coming. When I looked at, once again, the trademarks, we saw GPT-6 and GPT-7 after GPT-5 have music generation, whereas GPT-5 doesn't have any mention of music generation in the trademark. So I don't think music generation is coming in the next model. It might. They could always change things. They can do that. They're allowed to do that. But I just think that is something that is not on their focus right now because it's not something that people are really asking for. Now, here's something that seemed to be pretty crazy, okay? They are speaking about a feature that will change everything. I made a video on this, okay, but here's the quote from a video that I made before. This is a random feature, and I don't know what this is. Like I said, it could be Code GPT, it could be Agent GPT, it could be anything. But you can see last month, Ben Newhouse, an OpenAI employee who's worked on computer using agents at the startup, according to a person familiar with his role, posted on Twitter that he was hiring for his team and building what I think could be an industry-defining 0-to-1 product that leverages the latest and greatest from our upcoming models. He didn't elaborate. And he described the product that will change everything. So one thing that we know will change everything is, of course, agents, but this is something that they're actively working on. So I think that this random feature, this random product that is going to, throw a spanner in the works, so to speak, is going to be something that's a future agentic system. Now, these are my predictions. What do you think else? What else do you think is coming from GPT-5? We've talked about longer context windows so you can analyze code bases. We've also talked about how there's going to be advanced reasoning capabilities, how these systems are going to be able to think a lot better. Sample over 10,000 responses to get the best one. Increased personalization. These systems are going to remember us. We've also got inference speed. We're going to be able to talk to these systems like we're talking to a person. The message cap might be gone depending on if they solve the compute problem. Increased vision capabilities because Apple have already beaten them. Increased memory capabilities. It's going to remember more stuff. We've also got multimodality coming, which is of course, like they said, speech in, speech out, and a likely upgrade to DALL-E 3. But AI agents isn't likely to come. Music generation isn't likely to come, and a random AI agent product is likely to be sometime next year. But then again, timelines are increasing, things are happening. We have no idea. But if you did enjoy this video, I am quite ill. I didn't really want to record this video, but I thought an unperfect video is better than a perfect video that never got released. So it's better to do this video while I'm ill, so you guys can get this information. Because GPT-5, there were some rumors that it was happening today, so I thought I might as well release this to see how accurate it is when the future does come. So with that being said, if you did enjoy the video, see you on the next one.